lives in a pineapple under the sea.
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Absorbent and yellow and porous is he.
Hey everybody, this is 22 Tiger Dude, and I'm here with my guest star.
Hello, top of the morning, everyone. This is your old pal J5. I'm sorry. Sorry, I've been drinking too much Bailey's lately. Hey guys, this is J53518 here, and as the great Tiger Dude / Valentine's Day King has said, we're going to review this SpongeBob episode, No Free Rides.
No Free Rides, as requested by Ed, and Eddie Archive.
What do you think, Gary? Sorry, I had to do that. Anyway, enough of that. Shut up. Anyway, today's episode's about where SpongeBob finally passes his driver's license test. Now, Mrs. Puff, not feeling sure about how SpongeBob does, has to control him now being a free driver. Can he prove to Mrs. Puff he's worthy of being a driver, or will he once again have to pass boating school? What do you think of this classic episode?
I think it is a really fun, really energetic, and wild ride of an episode. No Free Rides is very creative. It has a nice concept about how SpongeBob, of course, he fails, but Mrs. Puff, we all know by now, she's just so sick and tired of having him as a student. She just wants a sponge out of her life forever. So she decides to be a not very good teacher just by giving him extra credit and making him pass when she knows that he still needs a lot of help. And I really enjoyed how that overall concept of the episode was handled. So I thought it was very well made. It was very funny. It was very well written. It was nice to see SpongeBob's parents in here. And it was just really funny on how Mrs. Puff visualized how SpongeBob as a driver could be and how bad it could go, because it would be her fault.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Tiger Dude, guys. It reminds me of when I saw this episode as a kid, as I grew up seeing this episode. It reminds us of how we were when we got our licenses. We were inexperienced, we were dumb kids. But this episode's a good example of what to do when you're given responsibility for a big privilege. And I feel bad for SpongeBob, but sometimes I don't, because he's sometimes a klutz. But I feel bad for Mrs. Puff because she tries so hard to get little SpongeBob to pass, she just can't help that little sponge is a thorn in her side. I agree with Tiger Dude. This is a 5 out of 5. It's a great story. It's a good idea, and it's a cool little SpongeBob what-if story. Yes, it's canon, but we all know SpongeBob will never get his license, ever. Never!
Yeah, I do agree with J5. That's a good point, man. It's a really nice what if SpongeBob was a driver, and we get a little behind the look of that. It was funny, and it was very well done, and I thought it was really clever. I really enjoyed the living hell of this episode. Just the only problem I had with this episode was Mrs. Puff. I just didn't like how she wanted SpongeBob out of her boating school right away. I thought she was a little out of character. Mrs. Puff was pretty unlikable.
Puff bitch. What do you mean, Tiger Dude?
Very funny, man. So I'm going to give No Free Rides a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this episode. Now we are here to review the episode. I'm your biggest fanatic. So J5, what is the plot to the episode, my good friend?
The plot of I'm Your Biggest Fanatic is the story of SpongeBob trying to be a part of the jellyfish seekers. Jellyfish, whatever their name is, these back nerds who basically live by Kevin the Sea Pickle, voiced by the great D. Bradley Baker. Awesome. As he's the leader of this nerd cult of the Jellyfish Watchers. Their goal is this nerdy club to capture the jellyfish and become known as gods. But only SpongeBob may be too pro for him to become a jellyfish seeker. Does he have what it takes to beat Kevin, or can he just be a little weenie? Review of the plot. As I've thought of this is kind of like the whole Revenge of the Nerds / kind of the whole underdog story, but I like the way that they did it in SpongeBob fashion. We all know how much SpongeBob loved to say, "I'm ready," but it's kind of interesting to see what if he joined a group of jellyfish seekers. Now, these are not the kind of guys who catch jellyfish. They're the kind of the scientific, you know what I mean, Tiger Dude, kind of nerds that like to study jellyfish, not just mess with them. They're like naturalists, if you know what I mean. Very environmental nerds. Nerds! Sorry, I've just watched Revenge of the Nerds again, but you know what I mean. Poor SpongeBob has to deal with ridicule from Kevin until Kevin sees how much of a wimp he is. Oh, that poor pickle bastard. It's a good idea, and I love this episode. It's classic SpongeBob humor with a good soft tail at the end. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars.
I really enjoyed the episode.
Awesome.
I thought it was hilarious as hell. Probably a little more funnier than No Free Rides, to be honest.
I agree.
It kept me invested in the storyline. I loved how SpongeBob was going on his journey with Kevin and the other fish. It was
Kevin.
Yeah, every single moment in this episode is just so memorable. The writers, when they wrote this episode, you could tell they just had a lot of ideas behind it, and it just took real creative and unique thinking going to this episode, and I admired that so much about it. It's great with the humor, it's great with the story, and the overall idea of it. It's just really amazing. Just my only flaw with this episode, of course, is the fact that Kevin was a jerk. I thought I didn't appreciate how he treated SpongeBob, how he was just tricking SpongeBob. I just thought that was pretty messed up. So I give I'm Your Biggest Fanatic a 9 out of 10. And plus Patrick's small role in this episode, highly entertaining. So stupid.
It's funny, just because Sponge Patrick makes everything seem to work, even when it doesn't. But yes, we all find out that Kevin's a big, how does he say it? A big weedy boy? A big weedy boy. I agree that Kevin is kind of a dick. Sorry to cuss on this channel, guys. I'm sorry, but Kevin is kind of a dick. To be honest, that he should treat little SpongeBob with respect. I mean, come on. Kevin thinks he can be a better jellyfish catcher. Come on. SpongeBob's been doing that shit since the beginning of the show. What is this, the 3rd season? Come on. SpongeBob's like a pro at it. He's helped Mr. Krabs with his jellyfish Krabby Patty idea. He helped do the mambo with them. And hell, SpongeSquidward got even bitten by a jellyfish. So come on, SpongeBob's more intelligent in jellyfishology, if you call it that.
Thank you, J5, for guest starring in this review.
Glad to help serve the community in YouTube. Thank you, Tiger Dude, for allowing me. It's an honor.
And you guys check out J5's awesome channel. I will leave a link in the description below.
I am 22 Tiger Dude. Don't forget that I will always have Tiger Power!